Well, this next one, I don't think this is going to be super duper surprising, but Medium Molecule put out a blog post, and they did say that they are ending active development for Dreams.
That's so sad.
And I know that's like, it was one of those games that took forever to come out, and when it came, and people were always like, I don't really understand what it is. And then when it came out, I think there was still a huge swath of people that didn't quite understand it. But the people that got it and got in there and dug around, I mean, so many amazing things were made in Dreams.
Yes.
And it was it's weird because it's like one of those things where, I mean, for those of us that are older and remember Vine, like I used to look at stuff on Vine all the time, and it was just amazing.
Yep.
Like that, I would watch just clips or videos or YouTube or whatever of just stuff that was made in Dreams. I would just watch it, and I was just like, this is just blowing my mind that this was made on a PlayStation 4 in a game creation software. And so it's sad to see, but at the same time, even though so much amazing stuff came out of it, it just stayed very niche. Right. And just not. I mean, I have no idea what their sales are of the thing, but I mean, clearly not enough to keep it active and continuous going. But my gosh, man, it's just one of those things where it's like, I get it why they're going this direction and why they're ending active development for it. And they did say that it's not like you'll still be able to buy the game, you'll still be able to create things. They're not removing it from the store. It's just not going to have any new updates. And there was a long promised multiplayer mode that was going to be coming. That's obviously been canceled. That's not going to happen. And there's not going to be any update that will bring it like natively to the PlayStation 5 or to PSVR 2, because you can use PSVR to get in there and build stuff inside of PSVR is one of the aspects that it did have. And they're going to be migrating it over to a different set of servers where I don't know what the current limit is. But once it moves over to this new server, any new projects built from then on will be limited to 5 gigabytes in size. I don't know what the current one is. Like, to have the scope, I don't have the perspective of like how big is a typical project. Like, maybe that's super reasonable, maybe it's not. I don't really know. But that is one of the things where they're like, hey, if you start anything that started or being in the works or any of that kind of stuff prior to that switchover, which is happening in May, will kind of be grandfathered in where you won't have that 5 gigabyte limit. But after that point, everything will have that. And so, I mean, it would be one of those things where it'd be cool to see sometimes things like this when the support is officially ended. It kind of gets this community resurgence kind of thing. And, you know, who knows what'll happen in the future. Because they did say they're like, hey, we're moving on to some, you know, a new project and that we're really excited about. And they did confirm that it's not Dreams related, or it's not like a Dreams 2 or any of that kinds of stuff, for the people that were thinking like maybe this was like not really a bait and switch, but more of like, oh, you're going to tell us some good news after all this kind of stuff. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens in the future. I mean, if it starts to get crazy and pop off for some reason all of a sudden, maybe it'll come back around or something. Who knows? And I'd love to see it like live on for many more years. You know, of course, being kind of locked down on PlayStation 4. I mean, I guess technically you can play it on PS5. It's just the PS4 version, so maybe it'll still have some life there. But it's kind of sad to see it going, even though it's not all that surprising.
That's one of those games that I rented from GameFly, and it just sat and sat and sat, because it really was for a specific person. You got to want to get in there and really dig around. And I think I ended up throwing it in the PlayStation right before I was going to send it back. And I was like, yeah, it's not for me. Like, I just don't like building and figuring and moving stuff around, and then the music, and then and so I didn't have, it wasn't for me. And like Chris said, it's super niche, but there are some incredible things. So I'm glad that they're not like doing away with it and canceling the servers so people can't get their stuff out there. Because I remember people were remaking Final Fantasy in there. They were remaking Metal Gear, and some of that junk, you were like, oh snap, like this kind of looks good. Like, what in the world? They were recreating like back when we were only getting the demos of the Unreal Engine 5, they were like recreating those scenes that we saw from the launch of it, and you were like, how are they doing this in Dreams now? Right. And so I thought they were doing some incredible things. So it's like, more power to those people. But like Chris said, it felt like it just lived in Dreams. And so if you wanted to buy Dreams to just go see other people's creations, then that was something you could do. But it felt like there wasn't that next step of being able to then publish that in some way to get other people to download maybe just what you had done on the PS Store or something like that, and be able to, make money by doing it, or just to be able to spread it around a little bit more than just on YouTube.
It was really cool to see so many creative tools on console, because a lot of PC people already had access to something similar. It's cool to see what people could do on a console.
Absolutely, and it really was incredible. There's some brilliant people out there.